Hello lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to film a VR to the lovely Jonathan Daly, who has just uploaded a video of him flying through the air, which I watched today, which I loved. So Jonathan, this is a VR to your tag last 10 decks, so the last 10 decks that came into your collection. And I have recently had some decks, very recently, some of these aren't even open, that have come into my collection, so I thought I'd share. Now, I got back from the caravan a couple of days ago, and waiting for me in my porch was some post, and when I opened it, this deck was in here. This is a gift from the lovely Robert over at the channel Tea and Tarot, which I'll link his channel down below. I love Robert. He's got the most brilliant sense of humour. I love listening to him talk about decks. He's really knowledgeable. I love watching him read tarot as well. So if you don't know Robert yet, go and check him out and say hi. But he wasn't getting on with this deck, and I'd commented on his video. I love that, because of course I've been doing an I Ching study this year. This was a deck that I'd never seen before. It's actually a low Scarabello deck. It's the I Ching of love, and I cannot wait to lay this out alongside my other I Ching decks that I've got. But you can see you've got the hexagram on each card. You've got keywords down the side, and then each card has got this pictorial scene as well. All of these things, I think, are really going to help with a study of I Ching, and I need to finish it because it's a study that I fell behind on. As I do with most of these studies, I'm not very good at finishing things, to be honest, guys. Yeah, but look at this. Isn't this brilliant? So I had a tiny flick through when I got back from the caravan, but it was quite late, so I haven't worked with it at all yet. But isn't it interesting? I really like it. Robert, I know you didn't like it, but honestly, thank you so much for sending it to me, for me to give it a go. I really appreciate it. I think I love it. I think this is brilliant. This is exactly what I was looking for. It has a booklet as well. Your keyword, your number. Oh, I think this is going to be fantastic. This is going to absolutely reignite my study, the I Ching, which I keep calling I Ching, but it's I Ching. Yeah, I might be revisiting that study. I love it. So that is the I Ching of love deck. Thank you, Robert, so much. So that was waiting for me literally on my doorstep a couple of days ago when I got back from Wales. Now, in Wales, when I was away for a week without the kids, you know, you like to treat yourself, don't you, sometimes? So I thought, what can I treat myself to? And I treated myself to visiting the art centre and going to see a piano recital, a lunchtime piano recital. In the art centre there, they have a shop. I always like to go and have a little wander, have a little look. And they had some decks in there. So this was £6.99. This is a set of 100 cards, palm reading cards. Discover your future in the palm of your hands. Now, palm reading fascinates me, probably because I have such unusual hands. And if you haven't already noticed, I have 2 club thumbs, which my dad passed on to me, which you can see how short they are. Both of them are club. It has its own name, which I'll put on the screen here. I always forget it. They're called murderer's thumbs, and they denote a really vicious, murderous temper. Now, me and my dad was incredibly gentle, as I feel I am. But if my dad ever lost his temper, which I only ever saw him do once, he passed out. His temper was so bad, and my temper is very similar. You need to run for your life if you make me lose my temper. But the rest of the time I'm very gentle, so that kind of eruption, it does fit. That eruption of temper does fit with both of us. So that has always fascinated me, and having watched videos trying to find out about what a murderer's thumb means, it kind of got me interested in palm reading and what it's all about. So when I saw this deck in the shop, I always like to try and find something to support the art centre. I just thought, well, why not? So these are the backs. Let's have a look at them together. So we've got an introduction, how to give a palm reading, which hand to read, right hand dominance, left hand dominance, hand size, earth hand. I don't know what any of these things are. So there's hands linked to the elements, the mount of Mars, outer and inner. So it's taking you through the different aspects of the hand, which I absolutely love. Oh my gosh, this is great. It's just a nice little introduction, isn't it? But how brilliant is this? So a study deck for sure. I wonder if it says anything about murderer's thumbs in here. The lifeline. The lifeline hugs the thumb. The minor lines. There we go. We've got worry lines. The ring of Solomon. The ring of Saturn. The simian crease. Very short fingers. Short fingers. Long fingers. Finger shape, gaps between the fingers, knobbly knuckles, smooth fingers, fingertips, fingernails. Oh my gosh, there's just so much in it. So ridges on the nails, fingerprints, the arch. So we're going through the different fingers now. Right, a long thumb, a short thumb, a wasted thumb, a flexible thumb, a stiff thumb, a thick thumb, stiff and thick, wide, sorry, just ignore my humour, narrow. So it doesn't actually say if one of those is a, it doesn't say if one of those is a murderous thumb. What about stiff and thick? Don't know. It doesn't say about murderous thumb in there, which is a shame. But anyway, that's what got me interested in this deck. So literally I bought that. The piano recital was on the day that I left, and I bought it in the shop going out, so it was thrown in my handbag to come home with, and I hadn't even opened it. I just got in the car to come home. So that is deck number 2. Also in the shop, I also bought this one. This one was in there. It was in there at £15. Possibly could have got it a bit cheaper online, possibly, but I wanted to support the art centre. It just looks really funky. Look at that kind of 70s feel to it. The Animal Apothecary. I have on purpose not watched anything with this deck in. Now I saw Lisa Prepares, you were doing a video and Lisa went to share it, and I had to shut my eyes for it because I didn't want to spoil opening it. I could see there was an octopus on the back, there was an octopus and a crow. So those two things are two of my animals that I work with, so I just felt like I had to give it a go. Oh, look at that. So I know this really should just be me showing decks, but you're getting some unboxings thrown in for free as well. So you've got quite a chunky little book here, and oh, are these dragons? Those are dragons. How fantastic that there's dragons in there, because I've got a call to dragons at the moment. Love those backs. Oh my gosh, look at this. Evolve into your complexity. I love that for the octopus. Keep trying. I love that for the starfish. Of course, there's that story about the person throwing the starfish back into the ocean, and it matters for this one starfish. I love that story. Oh my gosh, look at those. Nourishment while waiting. Inner conflict and resolution. Inner truth. I love the owl. Small steps, big accomplishments. Oh, this is lovely. Abundance. Master manifester. Oh my gosh. Will you just look at that? Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Oh my gosh, they've got a service dog in there. That's fantastic. I really like this. I had a suspicion that this just might possibly be like just added into the animal collection decks just to be grabbed whenever. Oh no, I think this is more than that. I am loving it. Oh, I cannot wait to work with this. You are what you think. I love it. And perception with an ostrich with its head in the sand. Oh, I love it. Oh, and the swan, see beyond your past. So the animals that I work with and have worked with, the octopus and the crow are the main one, and the swan. There's links there to deity. Of course, the crow with the Morrigan and the swan with Bridget. But the octopus came to me through art channeling and trauma work, and I call the octopus my trauma warrior, and it features in an awful lot of my artwork. So animal energy is really something that I've worked with. I love that butterfly metamorphosis card. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, we're nearly at the end of this now, so we may as well do all of the cards and look at them all. Look at this. Oh my gosh, Phoenix. I love it. Absolutely love it. Love it. So those two, the palm reading cards and the animal apothecary, were two that I literally bought a few days ago in the art centre, and I've only just opened them now. So just wonderful. On another day in Aberystwyth, on my week away, I went into a shop in town called Stars, and I bought these 3 crystals. If you'd seen my July Happies, I talk about the fact that fire and water has been coming up in strange synchronicities, and a call to work with dragons, which I've never had before. No interest in working with dragons, and then suddenly bam, there it was. I couldn't ignore it. Dragons by water, the Welsh dragon. I think these are aquamarine crystals, so even inadvertently I'd bought water-based crystals with a dragon deck. Carolyn Mitchell's Dragon Path Oracle cards. I have shared these in a video that I filmed up at the caravan about what I bought on my holiday. These are the backs. And I have spoken about this deck and the work I've done with it so far. Gosh, I have really loved it so far. It's just really it feels like it's got some real depth to it. I think some of these type of decks that like you just grab a theme and just do some artwork, some of them don't feel like they've got any substance. This deck does to me. It feels like Caroline has spent the time and work with dragon energy to really know her stuff. It feels really thought out. Now let me grab the deck that I have been working with this deck with. I've been pairing it with the Witchling Academy Tarot, which I've wanted to work with for a while, and it just felt like it was a really good pairing to put together. And so far in the last few days I've been really enjoying it. The style goes together really nicely, I feel. It's given me some really nice readings as well. It just, the energy of these two decks together, it feels like they have things to say with each other, which is great when you find decks that will pair up. So relatively new to me, working with the Witchling Academy Tarot and the Dragon deck. I suppose that goes without saying on a tag that's called the last 10 decks, so that doesn't really need saying. But no, aren't they great together? So that is deck number 4, the Dragon Path Oracle cards. Before I went away, one came through the post, which is a new one to me, that I ordered after I saw it on Lisa Pepez's channel. She was reviewing it, I think it was in her hot takes video, and she showed a few of the cards, and to be honest, just looking at the cards in that hot takes video, it made me cry. It is a deck that, although I've only worked with one card so far, I think it's definitely going to be a practice of just working with one card at a time, not necessarily using the deck for divination purposes, but using it for healing purposes, for journeying or for meditation, for journal prompts, and just journaling around the healing of it. I love it. I love the artwork. I love the colour scheme of it, like the pinks and the purples and the sort of pale blues. Oh, it's just so lovely. And the keywords and the phrases are just so needed, I think, for some of us. This is the card that I've already worked on, Healing a Scarcity Mindset. Not one I would have chosen for myself, not feeling like I had any issues with this at all, but I sat and I did the work and ended up absolutely flabbergasted by what it unveiled. So by the work, I mean like a sort of meditation. They don't call it a meditation in the book. They call it a creative visualization. They also give you some journaling ideas around the card. And then, of course, just sitting with the card, journeying into the card, meeting the character, finding out what the character has to say to you. It is just going to be quite a practice, I think. I mean, look at these: body connection, reclaiming the power of your body, and grounding, rooting in the power of your purpose. They are fantastic phrases for healing work, like Pink Lion, protecting little you. I mean, just so beautiful. And self-trust, building safety with yourself. I think this deck is fantastic. I really do. Having only worked with one card and only having flicked through it just a few times, I am so impressed and so excited to see where this deck can take me. Look at this: composting, decomposing energetic chords. The gardener in me and the unhealed bits of me are screaming with delight at that. So this is the Creative Consciousness Healing Oracle. To be honest, it was one of those decks where you pause the video you're watching and you've ordered it before the person can even get to the end of their sentence talking about it. It was one of those moments. It's mass market, it's not expensive, it's just brilliant. So that's deck number 5. And if you wanted to know who this deck is by, it's by Andrews McMeel Publishing. Right, now talking about the gardener in me, which I just was. Recently, you may have seen that me and Thea over at Garden Goddess Tarot, we did a 7-week Garden Arcana series together, which was just one of the delights of my year. It really was. I loved it. I loved spending time with Thea. It was just such a lovely joint project to do. Now, as a thank you, I have a gift to send to her, which I still haven't posted because, well, I do struggle with post for a whole different reason. But we were going to gift each other gifts at the end of it, and through the post from Thea, which is going in as my deck number 6, she sent me the most glorious gift as a thank you for doing Garden Arcana. You may recognise these. Of course, these are her very own Hellenic Oracle, which I didn't have yet. I was saving for them, and she just sent them both to me. So the expansion pack and the main deck as well, which is so many cards. Now, Thea, if you've watched Thea's channel at all, you will know that she has very strong spiritual connections with Greece, with Greek mythology and the Greek pantheon. Although I work mainly with the Celtic pantheon, these stories crop up so often within spiritual learning and within the tarot as well. It was something that I was really keen to delve into more than I already have. So these 2 decks coming my way, or I'm just classing them as one deck because I'm going to be putting them all together, are just such an amazing gift to receive. So you've got the key words of what the card is and who's on the card, and then from that you're going to do your own research. I think that's a beautiful way of pulling you into a deck and making it really, really mean something. We're not being spoon-fed here with a guidebook, but what we are being given is a beautiful image that links deeply and connects deeply with the essence of the person depicted, and then from there we can go and find out all about it. It is exactly what I want for learning about Greek mythology, and what a beautiful way to do it. But more importantly, I feel like I've got a little bit of Thea in the house, and I meet you guys online either in the comment section or other content creators, and sometimes you form beautiful friendships. Thea is one of those people that I just feel like she's family. I just adore her to pieces, and to have this deck here that Thea created, oh my goodness, it's just so wonderful, and I could cry. In fact, I'm so glad we're top down because I am crying a little bit because it's just beautiful. Look at this. So Thea, my gosh, thank you so much. This is just, oh, it's beyond anything really. It's just fantastic. So that has been part of my last 10 decks as well. Okay, we're up to deck number 7 now. This is one that I have wanted for so long. I've seen friends get it. I saw Renee over at Meadowlark Mystics, she bought it. I've seen other people share it. Every time I see this deck, and really any deck by this creator, it makes me sit up and pay attention. And finally, I think spending so much time in the garden in summer and making the fairy world out in my garden, it just made me really want to pull the trigger on it, and I did. So this is the Fairy Tarot by Nathalie Hertz, and it's by US Games. It's mass market. It was recently on sale on Amazon, which was the final push for me to buy the deck. And I love it. I just love her artwork. I haven't used it yet because there were other things on the trolley. But isn't this artwork spectacular? Oh my gosh, I just think it's so wonderful. So she has other decks as well. She has, I think, a vampire deck which looks fantastic. They are harder to find. This one is still readily available and I jumped at it. I love the depictions of the card meanings. I mean, look at that 9 of Swords, it's fantastic. I love her art style. I love the coloured borders. I love the text font that's used. I just love this fairy world that is before us, and it was one that, for me, this really does feel like the Fae to me. It's kind of a halfway house between the very beautiful idea of fairies that you kind of see in Disney movies, or say the Tarot of the She, which is a little bit more alien-like. For me, the Fae, if anything, would feel a little bit more like this. So yeah, and look at all the colours. Oh my gosh, it's so lush. So that is my deck number 7, the Fairy Tarot by Nathalie Hertz. Deck 8 is one that I've shared a few times recently on my channel. Now, this was suggested to me in an Instagram direct message from one of you lovely lot. You said that you loved this deck. You just thought that I might love it too, and to check it out. You hadn't seen anybody sharing it online, and I hadn't seen it shared anywhere online. When I checked it out, not only was it amazingly cheap, I think I paid £11 for this on Amazon, or £11.99, something like that, but beyond it being super cheap and affordable, it also really spoke to me again, kind of a little bit of Fae energy again, that sort of whimsical, sort of ethereal feel to it, and I just loved what I saw. You may have seen me on this channel pairing this with Tarot of a Moon Garden. Those two decks are really working well for me during this summer, and I haven't regretted this purchase at all. I think it's a gorgeous oracle. I absolutely love the fact that there's a keyword but also a key phrase as well. It's just a really lovely deck to use. Some great keywords: freedom, boundaries, abundance, wonder, purity, joy, belonging, harmony, storytelling. Great keywords. So that's the Findhorn Spirit Oracle cards, and that's deck number 8. Deck number 9, again, I've shared this on the channel a few times. This is the Feel Your Chakras Oracle by Andi Taylor. This is the mini sticker edition. This was gifted to me. This is a vintage edition, which I've said so many times on this channel that I'm not sure that this is available just yet. It doesn't feel like you know, proper laminated cardstock on this. It's more paper. But it was a surprise gift sent to me when I ordered this one, and it made me cry. You may have seen, if you watched my videos, that I just finished painting a picket fence in my garden white, and I was really emotional about having a white picket fence, which had been a lifelong dream. And then I walked in, and this was in the porch waiting for me. This had been delivered while I was painting in the garden, and to open it and find this vintage version, it just felt like white picket fence in a deck, and it just felt like it was meant to be. And I think it just tied into the strong emotions that I was having in that moment, and it all kind of came together in one beautiful big message of you can and you're worth it. And it was just wonderful. It was the most perfect timing. So that's Andi's vintage edition version of Feel Your Chakras. And then this is the little mini sticker version. It comes with loads of stickers, which I've still to put on this case. The backs have got all of the stickers on as well, and if you look, you can see images of stickers as well on the cards themselves. And I know you will have all have seen this deck by now, but you've got overactive for each of the chakras, you've got balanced for all of the chakras, you've got underactive, did I already say underactive, and overactive? So balanced, overactive and underactive. It's all colour coordinated for the chakras as well, and it's just been brilliant. I said in my last video that this deck, in whatever version you're working with, has been my deck surprise of the year so far, because I ordered it just really because I didn't have a chakra deck and I thought it might be useful. I didn't order it thinking that's going to never be put away and will become such a mega important deck in your collection, but it's immediately claimed that space. They haven't been put away since they arrived. It's just been incredible. So that is, are we up to deck number 9? Oh my gosh, that's number 9. So we're up to deck number 10, and I am going to put 2 decks in for deck number 10 because I wasn't sure which one had come first out of these 2 that I ordered. They're both mass market, but one isn't open and one is. So I thought I'd share them both but show you the one that's open. Now the one that isn't open, which I am pretty sure came first, it should be deck number 10, is this Stranger Things deck. Now I am not a great TV watcher. In fact, I forget that I've got a TV in the house, but I recently started watching Stranger Things, and I've watched the first 2 seasons. I think there's 2 more seasons to go, and I've loved it so much. Oh my gosh, the characters, the writing, the acting, but the set as well, and the dressing of the episodes. It's so nostalgic for me. It takes me back to my childhood. I was born in 1968, so I mean, I had a chopper bike, I had a chopper, just the clothes, the games, the arcades, the toys they're playing with, the bikes they're riding, the clothes they're wearing, just takes me back to my own childhood, and that's just been a glorious watch. So when I realised there was a tarot deck, I absolutely jumped on it. but I don't want to open it until I've finished watching the whole series. I don't think there will be any spoilers because I'm pretty certain this is more of a pick deck than anything. However, I want to watch the series first and then have the treat of opening it. So I think that was number 10, but because there's nothing to show you there because I'm not opening it, I think this came in kind of at the same time. This is the Squid Cake Marseille Tarot. I mean, how could I not? It's got pink edges, guys. Look at it. Engage your creativity and be inspired to think outside the box. I mean, it's just amazing. One of my tarot goals for this year was to learn a little bit more about Marseille, which is a system that I've probably used the least. And when I saw this deck come up on people's videos and saw the pink edges and saw how cute and mini it was, and just saw these characters and the colour scheme, oh my gosh, it was a no-brainer for me. And I went online and I think it was under £15. Again, like a super cheap mega deal on such a nicely produced little deck, because I think it is the most beautifully produced deck. It doesn't really, I don't think it feels mass market to me. It feels more kind of indie quality, and I think it's gorgeous. So it's going to be my go-to when I restart my Marseille study. I think it's lovely. Again, a really super cheap deck that just delights the soul. I mean, look at that judgment card. That's just so brilliant. So I love it. So that is also going in as a bonus deck, number 10. So that's it, guys. Those are my 10 and a few bonus ones, last 10 decks. There are some fantastic gifts in there, so thank you very much to Robert and to Thea for the gifted decks, and thank you to Jonathan for doing this tag. I've really enjoyed it. It gave me a chance to share some quick unboxings with you guys. Re-sparked my interest in the I Ching again. And it's just nice to share, isn't it? So that's it, guys. That's my last 10 decks. Thanks so much for watching. I'll leave everybody's links below and I'll see you next time. Bye.